Question number 4, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statement from 2013 that if Auckland prices continue at the same rate, the bubble would burst and, quotes, you would leave a lot of potentially first home buyers with very large loans and an overvalued property and effectively negative equity where they owe more than the property's actually worth, end quote.
Mr. Speaker. Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I stand by my actual statement, which was, quote, if we continue to leave the housing market completely unchecked in Auckland and it's continued to go up at the rate it's going up, then eventually there would be a bubble and it would have to burst. I'm pleased to report that since then there have been a number of important steps to increase housing supply and assist first home buyers. Consents in the city are the highest for more than 11 years. Interest rates remain very low and we're supporting more home buyers into their first home, and we're seeing some early signs that the Auckland house price increases could be moderating.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Is he aware that since he made that statement, Auckland house prices have gone up nearly $300,000, leaving first home buyers more indebted than ever?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I made that statement, I think, in 2013, so it sounds like a substantial increase. But, Mr. Speaker, in the time that we have been in government, or the last few years, in fact, since that period of time, we've named and set up 120 special housing areas. There have been 24,000 houses and sections which were consented in the first 2 years of the Housing Accord. We're reforming the RMA, which we're more than happy to get Labour's support from if they want to. An extra 80,000 new homes are forecast to be built in Auckland in 6 years in 2020. Interestingly as well, Mr. Speaker, Massey University's home affordability report of today showed the Auckland property market became a bit more affordable over the past quarter.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
How does he expect first home buyers to realise the Kiwi dream of home ownership when a standard deposit on an Auckland home has nearly doubled from $100,000 to $185,000 since he became Prime Minister?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, firstly, as the member knows, it's possible for banks to lend over the LVR ratio for a certain percentage of the loans they make. Secondly, the government has introduced KiwiSaver Home Start, which, as we know, for a significant number of New Zealanders now, assisting them in their own homes. We also know that interest rates, as opposed to under the previous Labour government, where they were high and expensive, have been dropping dramatically under a national-led government. The prudent and good economic management of this government has allowed New Zealanders to enjoy lower interest rates.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
How does he expect first home buyers to realise the Kiwi dream of home ownership when servicing the mortgage on a lower-end home costs almost half their income, nearly 10% of their income more than in December 2008?
The
Mr. Speaker, I'd have to go and get all of the relevant information, but if one looks at interest rates which were up at 8 and 9, 10% when Labour was in office and are now significantly lower, what we do know is that the capacity to service a house is actually the lowest it's been in about 50 or 60 years in New Zealand.
You had the job.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Is Fran O'Sullivan correct when she says about him, that is the Prime Minister, that, quotes, he is frankly unapologetic about the massive increase in Auckland residential property values, which has resulted in many established Aucklanders becoming relatively rich, but younger people being locked out of the market?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, one learns when one's been in the job long enough that columnists will make their own assessments and write their own comments all the time. I read some stuff about Andrew Little that, frankly, I find a bit disturbing, actually, but it's okay. If the member wants to say every columnist that writes every column is right in what they say, that's going to be a very interesting proposition to stand by.
Question number 5.